I remember making this image.
But now the image has become the memory.
Now that it's recorded here, it can't be forgotten.
It's fixed. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism or noctambulism, is a sleep disorder belonging to the parasomnia family.
Sleepwalkers arise from the slow-wave sleep stage in a state of low consciousness and perform activities that are usually performed during a state of full consciousness. These activities can be as benign as sitting up in bed, walking to the bathroom, and cleaning, or as hazardous as cooking, driving, grabbing at hallucinated objects, or even homicide.
There are two models of the future, a circle and a straight line. The circle takes us over the same ground. We can never progress, but it's familiar and safe.
The straight line is mysterious. It's unexplored and holds the promise of strange and wonderful things. But there are risks. Nothing is certain, and the straight line may lead to a dead end or a precipice. They say an elephant never forgets.
They also say fish have only a 3-second memory. Neither is true.
It takes a point of view to remember, to frame circumstances in a before and after.
Both the camera and the human brain could accurately be described as memory machines.
First, people made pictures.
Then came language and words.
The words weren't as powerful as the images, but they were portable. Instead of drawing a picture of a lion, you could just say
lion,
or just write down the word.
In culture, convenience always wins.
But this lion isn't the same thing as this image of the lion, just as this loneliness isn't this.
Or this happy isn't the same as this.
The reason is that words are never enough. The eye sees, the mind knows, the heart feels. But the words do not exist to make us see or know or feel what it is like, what actually happens. The words are never right.
That preceding text introduced an image of dead Marines lying on a South Pacific beach. The photo was published in Time magazine during World War II. The purpose of the image was to muster civilian support as Allied forces got closer to Japan and began bombing cities. Those images weren't seen until after the war.
We don't have an image of that, but we have this. This is the USS Intrepid. It was an aircraft carrier during World War II, serving in the Pacific. Now it's a museum to war.
Our world has developed dementia.
Or a virus, depending on your perspective.
It starts in the hippocampus, destroying recent memories of a few hours or days.
Then language and logical thought, how to grasp concepts and make plans.
Then the emotions, moods, and feelings are attacked.
The disease then hits the senses, sight, hearing, and smell. It can cause hallucinations.
Then on to the oldest memories, family, childhood.
Finally, balance and coordination are lost.
And ultimately, breathing and heart function.
The world fosters this sense of forgetfulness. CNN news stories are repeated every 15 minutes, as Yahoo headlines are constantly replaced. Yesterday's issues are long gone down the memory hole. We're being taught how to forget to better voraciously consume whatever is now trending. As in dementia, the loss of memory is the initial symptom in a progressive sickness that ultimately leads to death.
Can we expect the loss of collective memory to be different?
This film should be broken into small pieces. It's nearly impossible to watch something long on the internet. It's not made for that. It's made for ideas that can be jotted down on scrap paper, tweets.
There is no time.
It's impossible to sit still for more than a minute. There's too much temptation that somewhere something else is happening.
And you're missing it. Sleepwalking, contrary to most belief, apparently has little to do with dreaming. In fact, it occurs when the sleeper is enjoying his most oblivious, deepest sleep.
A stage in which dreams are not usually reported.
The eyes are an appendage of the brain.
We don't record the voices of people we love. We take their picture.
In the past, it was the privilege of the rich to hire artists to paint them so their image would last forever. People who couldn't afford it were forgotten. Photography came, and average people could then preserve their own memories. Memories were no longer confined to museums.
Movies made memories collective. But this collectiveness is impersonal. They're not your memories. They don't belong to you. Why do people feel the need to photograph so much of their lives? Certainly they rarely watch it all. But the act of recording helps them remember it.
What are cameras if not tools for memory and imagination?
Is there really such a distinction between the two? Are cameras a simple man-made consciousness?
The sheer number of cameras makes a cultural difference.
With all these recording devices, we don't need to remember anymore.
The act of remembering is no longer a function of the individual. It's been appropriated by the state.
The culture. Personal recollections are a quaint, outdated concept.
The self-portrait has become the selfie.
A profile pic to be periodically updated.
Is it the same for texts? Do people send texts simply to prove to themselves that they did something? An affirmation of self? A scream in the darkness?
I am here.
Is this why people constantly stare at their phones? Like a mirror?
A recent study in neuroscience suggested that the reason older people sometimes have trouble remembering is that the area of the brain that holds their memories is getting so full that it has trouble accessing those memories.
Like a computer hard drive that is full, out of memory.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. This is Houston. Say again, please. All right, Houston, we've had a problem.
The image.
And the black box.
A long time ago, movies used to be 4x3, like this. This is 35mm Academy, or full frame. This is the same frame cops chased Buster Keaton through. People were okay with it. Then came TV. The television was also 4x3. Then somebody decided that movies needed to grow bigger to crush the little TV screens. Suddenly, there was CinemaScope, Cinerama, Todd AO, 65mm. Movies reached their peak in size. They were mature and fully grown. Then 4x3 wasn't okay anymore because it looked like TV. Then somebody had the idea that if you cut the square Academy frame into a rectangle, it looked bigger, like those bigger formats, but really, it's smaller. The top and bottom of the image are thrown away.
When you throw away the top and the bottom, you're left with the middle, the mediocre.
Movies started to shrink, to evolve in the opposite direction. The cameras got smaller. The screens did too. Now people watch movies on things they carry in their pockets.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What does Hollywood want us to remember? The films are so similar that it appears there's a single message, like the building of a great collective myth.
You can overcome great obstacles and overwhelming odds. You will get the girl. You will kill the bad guy. You will live happily ever after.
But those aren't your images. They don't belong to you.
It's been almost 10 minutes since this film started. You should really update your Facebook status or tweet something. Text someone. At the very least, take out your phone and look at it. Make sure you're still there. 10 early warning signs of Alzheimer's disease.
1. Memory changes that disrupt daily life. 2.
Challenges in planning or solving problems.
3. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. 4.
Confusion with time or place.
5. Trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. 6. New problems with words.
In speaking or writing.
7. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps.
8.
8.
Decreased
or poor judgment. 9.
9.
Withdrawal from social,
family, and although generally sleepwalking cases consist of simple, repeated behaviors, there are occasionally reports of people performing complex behaviors while asleep.
Sleepwalkers often have little or no memory of the incident, as their consciousness has altered into a state in which it is harder to recall memories. Although their eyes are open, their expression is dim and glazed over. The 2 black lines making up the letterbox sometimes function like these 2 other lines. For instance, this. The battles of our daily lives are fought with images. Is not as powerful as this.
The battles of our daily lives are fought with images.
In both cases, the function of these lines is to suggest a larger context. What they quietly mean is that something has been taken from some authoritative source, and therefore must be more credible than it is by itself.
But all it takes is one black line to remove context.
Why over the eyes? If the point were to objectify someone, wouldn't this be better?
Maybe because the eye sees, the mind knows, the heart feels.
Or this. The eye sees, the mind knows, the heart feels. Time magazine, quotes added. There is no logical reason to believe this, but I think that some places can remember. The vibrations of previous events can be felt, turned into psychic energy. You just need to be tuned into those reverberations.
Some objects are so heavily linked to the past that it's hard to look at them without feeling sorry for them.
Or embarrassed for being part of a future that no longer has a use for them. But the city does forget. Ask anyone who's been here more than a few years. Places change, reinvented into something new. For new people to make new memories. Language and words recently turned into texts. You don't read a text, you look at it. But when you look at it, you don't see an image, you see a word. The Australian inventor Myra Juliet Farrell claimed to write the solutions to problems in her sleep. In 2004, sleep medicine experts in Australia claimed to have successfully treated a woman who claimed to have sex with strangers in her sleep.
There are conflicting viewpoints. On whether it is harmful to wake a sleepwalker, some experts say that sleepwalkers should be gently guided back to a bed without waking them.
Others counter that idea and state that walking fuck.
In 2004, sleep medicine expert.
In 2004,
Sleepwalking can be a symptom of people.
Nothing is forever. There's something tremendously wonderful about that. It gives the right now both a mind-blowing significance and a who cares triviality. On one hand, it offers the opportunity for constant refinement and reinvention. But that may miss the point. To be forgotten, truly forgotten, swallowed by time, every atom absorbed by a hungry universe, is to join the divine.
But this overwhelming confusion isn't without joy.
It must bring a giddy dizziness. It must offer freedom from the responsibility of knowledge.
The euphoria of forgotten relationships, of forgotten logic.
The freedom to unlock ideas and sensations from their respective causes.
The audacity to view the world without causal relationships.
The consciousness directed at the unknowable, like God, or being a child again.
And finally, chaos, when the ego is no longer the center of everything.
It's beautiful, but dangerous. Film images degrade slowly. Dirt scratches away the emulsion. Color dyes fade. Splices dry out and separate. Eventually, the polyester base begins to shrink and sprockets tear. What's left are shriveled pink strips, brittle to the touch.
Yet, there are early Kodachrome images that look new after 100 years.
Digital images are less predictable. The file might get corrupted at any time and not open, or simply get deleted. A hard drive may fail and refuse to mount after years of reliable service. The only way to save a digital image is to continually copy it to a new storage device, using the latest file formats and codecs. You are not saving the original, but making a copy. Do you really think that 100 years from now there will be anything to plug your hard drive into, or anyone left who cares? There's a paradox. In an age when we create more images than ever before, when nearly every single person carries a camera in their pocket, we still spend most of our time looking at images that pretend to be ours but aren't. Images that have nothing to do with who we are and how we live. Can we make our own images without turning into narcissists? Can we balance self-awareness and suspension of disbelief?
In a world suffering from dementia, where the battles of our daily lives are fought with images, how can one live?
Quanto